Hey guys, you're watching CarTopic, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Suzuki Samurai. Now, before we get started, I just want to apologize because Forza Horizon 4, the game that I use for background footage, doesn't use Suzuki in their game. So today, we're going to be looking at an older Land Rover Defender with the Suzuki sticker on the back, while we're talking about the Suzuki Samurai. So once again, I do apologize, but let's just jump right into the video. Now, the very first year of the Suzuki Samurai was actually in the year 1970, but back then it was referred to as the Jimny. This was a small 4x4 car acquired from the Hope Motor Company just a few years prior. This car had 25 to 27 horsepower and a 0 to 60 of infinity because the top speed of this car was only around 47 miles per hour. But don't worry, because by the end of the first generation's lifetime, the power was boosted to around 42 horsepower and went well above 60 miles per hour. But Generation 2 was introduced in 1981, and the second gen was referred to as many different things around the world, depending on where you lived. For example, it was referred to as the Samurai here in the United States, but in other parts of the world it was called the Sierra, the Pothar, the Caribbean, the Katana, and many other words. But in 1986, the Samurai was finally introduced into the North American market, aka the United States. This car had an improved 63 horsepower and had a whopping 0 to 60 time of 19.1 seconds. But for a car that's kind of slow and was already around in other parts of the world for 4 years, what made a car like the Suzuki Samurai such an amazing off-roader in the United States to the point where it outsold the Jeep Wrangler for a couple of years? Well, let's take a look at some of its amazing off-road capabilities, which allowed it to dominate on the track. Well, first of all, it's a 4x4. Which means that all 4 wheels are getting power all the time. But this is kind of a given for all off-road vehicles. It also has a great low-end torque and uses a transfer case to multiply torque in low gears. This is especially important for the Samurai because it doesn't have a ton of power and it can use all the torque it needs in those low-end gears, so when you're going up hills or huge rocks, you have the torque to pull up the car. But it also helped that this car is incredibly light. So when you get a car that's extremely torquey and it doesn't weigh a ton, you get a car that can go up very steep inclines for a very low cost. It also has great departure and exiting angles and a great overall clearance, just like a Jeep. Because after all, the dimensions of this car are essentially a smaller Jeep Wrangler. It also has a solid axle, and essentially a solid axle connects the front 2 wheels to each other and the back 2 wheels to each other. So if the front left wheel is up high on a rock, then the front right wheel is pushed all the way down to the ground so that both wheels can have contact to get the maximum traction. This means that at all times, your car is trying its hardest to keep all 4 wheels on the ground. But for example, if the Suzuki Samurai didn't have a solid axle and the front left wheel was all the way up high on a rock, while the front right wasn't, that front right wheel would just be spinning in mid-air because nothing is pushing it down to the lower surface. That means that your car is giving half the traction and power that it needs to those front 2 wheels. And with a car like the Samurai that already doesn't have that much power, you wouldn't do so well on that rocky or uneven terrain. So you can probably imagine that this solid axle allows this car to be competitive with cars that have up to twice as much power. For example, the Jeep Wrangler of that time. So with a car that has as much off-road capability as the Samurai, and it actually sold out the Wrangler for a few years, why don't we see it in the United States anymore? Well, due to a controversy in the mid-90s, production of the Samurai stopped in the United States in 1995. And this car still lives on as a cheap and capable off-roader in other parts of the world, referred to as the Jimny. And it still has all those great off-road features as that original second generation. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you learned at least a few things about the Suzuki Samurai, or Suzuki Jimny. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and please be sure to let me know down below in the comments what you thought of today's video, as well as if you have any ideas for future ones. I'll be sure to make it happen to the best of my ability. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know that we do have an Instagram page, so if you do like what we're doing here, please be sure to check it out. But anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time on CarTopic.